Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me on the show tonight. This is David Mitchell. Welcome to another incredible show. It's straight from the source, where we speak about not just sports, but business. Or you can flip it. We speak about business and we speak about sports. Listen, I have an incredible business owner on the show tonight. This gentleman hails from Washington, D.C. We'll get a little bit about, we'll hear a little bit about his upbringing and what made him become one of the top entrepreneurs in the Williamsburgh, Virginia area. All right. He is the co owner, right, of Surpreme Styles, Beauty and Supply and Fashion. This is a wonderful store. All right. We're going to bring him on the show. We're going to be discussing what it's like to walk in his shoes, what it's like to multitask as a business owner, what it's like to have the responsibilities that he carries. Because I'm going to tell you, this particular store is a one stop, hear me again, one stop shop. All right. That's why I said fashion at the end, because not only is it a beauty and supply store, I mean, you can come in here and get yourself fitted. Okay. You can get your outfits. Okay. Your hats and everything. So without further ado, let's bring this gentleman out right now. My friend and business owner, Mr. Ray Paige. Welcome to Straight from the Source with David Mitchell. How you doing, Ray?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Great to be
Man,
here.
I appreciate you being on the show and taking your valuable time out to join us tonight. Listen, we're going to get right into it. Tell us a little bit about, briefly, your upbringing in Washington, D.C., and how you sort of found your way to Virginia, beautiful Williamsburgh, Virginia, beautiful tourist area, and what got you into, you know, the arena of becoming an entrepreneur, right? And what I call one of the best stores in the area.
All right, yeah. First of all, yeah, coming from Washington D.C., I relocated from Washington D.C. to Williamsburg in 1986. During that time, you know, I thank God for getting us out of Washington at the time that He did, because we got out there right before the crack era, right before crack cocaine hit and went through Washington D.C. and doing some, terrible things to that area. We got out right before that. Not to say it wasn't rough before that, but
Mm-hmm.
so my mother was born and raised in Washington D.C. My father was born and raised in Charles City, Virginia, right outside of Williamsburg, where my store is.
Mm-hmm.
So all my life I have been visiting down this area, but for the most part, we've been in from Northern Virginia to DC, the DC area. So went to middle school, started high school in DC, and then we moved to left DC and came down here and lived with my father. My parents split up. So just coming up in DC, it was rough. We never seemed to really have enough. Um, Struggling. Just it was bad. It was a bad situation. Gangs. You just saw a lot for a child coming up and a young man coming up in that area. You see a lot, and you witness a lot, and you just look at life and you just wonder. You're like, man, life got to be better than this.
Yeah.
Life got to be better than this. So, unfortunately, I came to the environment changed when I left Washington D.C. and I moved to Williamsburg with my father. The environment changed, but still brought with us. My brother and I still kind of brought some stuff with us from D.C. that wasn't too productive, just from that environment. And it was like anytime we wanted to hang out, we were back in D.C. running the streets. But things had changed at that time, because when we grew up as kids, we saw a lot of things, but then, the crack era came, and then you see different people, and you hear about people that you grow up with, and you like, oh yeah, some of them you hear about that got killed, died young, some went to prison young, and then some of them became really big drug dealers. And just coming up in the 80s with the music and just kind of glorified, a certain lifestyle, and that as a young man had a great impression on me, especially when you're growing up in poverty, and you start seeing people um, with the cars, the gold, the jewelry, and everything that come along with it. So that lifestyle kind of molded my mind frame as a young man, So, and one thing I definitely noticed in DC as I was growing up, none of the, we DC, like a lot of other cities, was big on fashion, but I never seen anybody that owned these businesses look like me. All the business I saw that was black owned coming up was barbershops, beauty salons. That was pretty much it. Anytime we went and shopped and spent our money, we were spending money with people that didn't look like us, that were in our communities. And so I just kind of, just left an impression on me even as a young man, that the dynamics of that, just something wasn't right. But I just couldn't put my finger on it. And then of course, being young, I was caught up in that consumerism. I just wanted to spend money, make money, spend money. I got caught up in that cycle right there.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, because what I'm hearing is something that's translating across to everyone listening, that's 100% authentic and real, and I believe that's what translates into your success, because you're keeping it 100% real. You come up in the tough inner city. I come up in the tough inner city myself, so I can relate to that. In Dayton, Ohio, growing up in Ohio, I mean, living in, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and, different places, it is different in the suburbs. It can give you an opportunity. It can give you a new, scope on life. And it looked like but your dad being in Virginia, you took it upon yourself. It was something inside you that you wanted more. You know what I mean? It's like, whether it was the fear, and fear can be a good thing. I'm always got my head on a swivel, because I tell people all the time I'm paranoid, right? Because I when you grow up in the city, you always, keep your head on the swivel, because you don't know what might happen, and you can't just take and trust any and everybody, because you didn't been around it. And I can relate to you in regards to that, but it translates into, which is important for someone to see, the business aspect, that you can escape that environment, right? And then become successful, right? So let's keep on moving. Was it someone in the family outside of your dad that sort of, kept a hold on you and kept you going in the right direction as well?
Well, I would say this. So I got way off course as a young man. We got caught up in, like I said, back and forth. I was Virginia, back and forth to DC, back and forth to DC. My mother was living in Baltimore at the time, so I had a DC, Baltimore, Virginia influence going on, and always in and out of the inner city, and then coming back into this, Williamsburgh, Newport News area. So I got caught up, and man, I'm gonna tell you, as a young guy in high school, I put away all thoughts of wanting to do the right thing, and gravitated towards the streets. And we got really heavy in the streets. We got heavy in the streets with the influence of the drugs, especially in the 80s when the crack. And back then it just looked so easy. You see people that it's like, okay, how you get that car? How you get that drug? How you get and you don't have a job? So I'm like, hold up, So I had a lot of negative influences, and I think the negative influences just outweighed the positive ones at that time. So I took to the streets, man, and just really got myself in a really bad place. And then I ended up, when it was all said and done, I had two sons, and I found myself in prison. And while I was in state prison, I caught a federal indictment that they was working on before I got there, and then I went straight from state prison to federal prison, and then that's when life really hit me in the face. I mean, punched me in the face. I mean, a wake up call like never before, especially having two sons, and at that time I had my my oldest brother. He was able to escape DC through the military. And my other brother, we were younger, so we came in high school down here in Williamsburg. But when life hit me, and I went to prison, and I'm thinking about my sons and my next brother that came down here with me. He was incarcerated already on some serious charges that he did a lot of time for, and his life just really hit me, and I had a wake up call, and I was like, man, this is not how my life was supposed to end up. And so I thought about and I did have an uncle that before I got incarcerated, I was trying to make some positive moves. We had opened up a recording studio. We wanted to be the Diddy or the Master P's of the area. So the music was always a heavy influence in my life, music and fashion. So I gravitated to. I said, well, okay, I can get out of this drug game. I said music was the outlet. That's what I had my focus on. But then once everything hit the fan and I got sent away to prison, I ended up doing 7 years in prison. But I used my time very productively, and I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I didn't want to work for anybody, and just looking at the different people who were making it in society, you know, I was always able to look at something positive, somebody positive, and be able to pull from that and say, hey, if they did it, I can do it as well.
Man, that's a fantastic testimony. A wonderful, again, keeping it real 100 story. And it's such an inspiration to many people that will be watching now and later, rebroadcast and whatnot. I appreciate you sharing that. So let's just keep the energy flowing. So now we know now the struggle. Now, when you continue to move forward, and after you home now and you didn't rebuild yourself here, right? Okay. Now, how do you transition yourself along the way? Because it's a lot to becoming, an entrepreneur. How did you get into this industry?
Okay. I would love to say it was easy, but nothing good and worthwhile in life is easy. So it was a struggle to come home from prison, and I'm telling you, I've seen situations where even when I came to Williamsburg, it's a lot of restaurants. It's a tourist city. You can always get a job in a hotel or a restaurant doing something, and I could not find a job. It was rough. I leaned back on some construction skills that I had. So I came home, and so I was working construction, and I just kept on believing that I could get myself into the fashion world. I said, well, I wanted to open a clothing store. And that's one thing I did want to do before I got incarcerated. While I was doing the music thing, I wanted to, but I just didn't know the connections. I didn't know how to go about doing it. So I said, I want to open up a clothing store. So I just, at that time, I was working construction during the day. I get off of work, and then said most of the people that had stores, that type of like urban clothing stores that I had interest in, they didn't look like me.
Right.
So every store I went to, there was Asian owned. So it just happened to be this one old Asian guy he had a store. It was a hair store, and he sold clothes too. It was in Newport News, and it was a nice little store. I could tell he had doing pretty good business there, and I told him straight up what I was trying to do. I wanted to buy some clothes for him at a discounted price, so I can take it back through the communities in Williamsburgh and sell the clothes. And so he would give me some discounts on some clothes, some jeans, some body oil, some hats, different caps and things that I would sell on my job, and I would sell through neighborhoods after work. So one day when I was leaving the Asian guy's store, I saw a guy posted up with a tent, and he had jerseys and bags and oils and different things he was selling. I was like, oh, I got to talk to this brother here. So I pulled over, made a U-turn, came back. I went and talked to him. I was like, hey, introduced myself to him, let him know what I was trying to do. Asked him, did he have anything I could buy? And I was telling him, one thing I believe is being real with people, being straight up. So I want to resell some things. You have anything? And he gave me some good prices on some of the items that he had. And we exchanged numbers, and I kept in touch with him. And long story short, he's my business partner to the day. But so just to touch on that, so I get in touch with him. I'm working. I'm still trying to get back on my feet. And he was telling me, he said, well, I'm going to New York. If you need me to pick up something for you, you can give me some money and I'll bring it back. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't have no money to be losing. Right. And I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, well, I have a little risk tolerance. So I said, okay, all right, I'm going to take this risk. I don't know him. I just met him a couple of times. I said, well, I'm going to give you some money. I was on federal probation. I wasn't supposed to leave or go anywhere. So I gave him probably about $150. I wanted to give me some sweatsuits, some different things. Back then, the velour sweatsuits was in style. So he went and got me some stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking the whole time while he was gone, I said, man, I hope he don't get me. I hope he don't get me.
Please don't get me.
So lo and behold, the day he told me he was going to be back, I get a phone call. He said, hey, I'm back. I got your stuff. I'm like, wow. I was like, man, this dude is real. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in the streets and you meet so many different people and you've been burnt so many times, it's like you don't just trust strangers with your money. No. So he came, we met at the food line parking lot. He gave me my stuff. And I was like, yo, man, I really appreciate that. And from there, later on, we had started making trips. I would ride with him. He knew my story. I was transparent with him, let him know, hey, I'm just trying to get back on my feet. So, we built a good relationship that way. And then one day, an opportunity presented itself to me, and I'm not the type of guy to just let opportunities go by. I'm looking for opportunities. I know I need to get back on my feet. I got a family to take care of. I'm recent, a year after coming home, I got married. I'm trying to take care of my children, my family. So I had an opportunity with somebody I knew that had a store. They had contacted me and said that they was ready to let their store go. And I used to hang out with her son years ago. So, we had a good relationship. We knew each other. But when she contacted me, I said, man, I didn't have the money for it. So I said, well, I know somebody that may be interested. So I called, who was my business partner now. I called Cole, and I said, man, this lady got a store, and she wants to get rid of it. She wants to sell it. I'm calling him to tell him about the store to see if he wants it. And so he said, okay, you think we can do it? I'm like, we sound really good. I said, that we sounds really good. I'm like, yeah. So he thought I was asking him, did I want a partnership with him? But I really didn't have any money at the time. But like I said, I'm not the one to turn down the opportunity. So, the rest is history. We put it together. We got together. We took over her store, took over her lease. And man, I'm going to tell you, God has been good. You know, I prayed, and you know, he did the rest. You know, God did the rest, put the right people in place in my life, and I tell you, it's been we've been business partners now going on 18 years, and I mean, just
Woo.
and made it through a so-called recession, made it through COVID. Business is thriving. But just to touch on the industry that I'm in, beauty supplies, as we know, there's not a lot of black-owned beauty supply stores. Not
Exactly.
black-owned beauty supplies. Lot of beauty supply stores that's catered to black people, but there's not a lot of black-owned beauty supply stores. And I would tell you, from 18 years in this business, it is strategically designed that way. It's not an accident. It's not by accident that you don't find many black-owned beauty supply stores. The Asians have, well, the Koreans are the ones that have the beauty supply stores. From South Koreans, they have the beauty supply stores here all over North America. They have a stronghold on this industry, and they have made it very difficult for the people that they sell to. Made it very difficult for them to have ownership in that type of business in the beauty supply industry. So when I found that out, that was another reason. I would say we started off selling clothes, but our customers would ask for beauty supplies. And then when I found out, I just started looking at the dynamics of it, because I didn't shop in beauty supply stores, you know, coming up. So my wife was just showing me different stores. I'm like, these are Asian owned, and then I found out that they trying to keep us out of this business. So I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not the type. I'm not the one to just sit there and see an injustice happen and just say, hey, okay, that's just the way it is. They don't want us in it. Okay, we can't get in it. No, 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 no. We're not about to. We're not falling for that. No,
No.
I was born and raised in this country. My dad went to war and fought for this country. No, you're not gonna tell me that somebody's gonna come over here. No disrespect to, because we actually have had help. We have had help from some Koreans. We've had some Koreans that, not many, but we've had a couple of them that looked me in my face and said, "Hey, it's time. It's time for your people to have some of this business." Not many of them, but I have befriended a couple of Koreans. Um, I've had a Korean beauty supply store owner, well, was half Korean and half black. You know, she telling me some things that blew my mind. She was like, "Well, my mother, she married a black man and had a baby by him, but she still feels some kind of way about." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, so it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, but you know, I'm a fighter, and I believe in fighting for what's right. And so we was not about to take no for an answer from any Asian owned company that act like they didn't want us in this business. Because I mean, we had a lot of people fought for our freedom, and they sacrificed, you know, they sacrificed a lot for us to get where we're at. And it's not time to stop fighting. You know, it's not time to stop fighting.
I mean, what you just saying, you know, to come in here, it's like, I appreciate you being on the show. It just seemed like it's just perfect. It's Black History Month, you know, and when you've been through things in your life, and like you say, from the city that you're from, in that environment, of course not. You wake up and you learn and you realize, no, I ain't going for any and everything. And the world itself is just built around a bureaucracy of a lot of different things that are indoctrinated since the beginning of time. And they block paths, you know, in this country for people of color. And it's just been that, especially Black people. And it's been like that for a long time and still is. So hats off, flowers off to you, you know, salute the whole nine, dap it up, because you someone to be proud of. All you done been through. I mean, how do you feel now after 18 years being what word would you describe how you feel when you look back at all you've been through right now?
Man, one word comes to mind, and that's blessed.
There you go.
Extremely blessed. I
Yeah.
mean, because to have a vision and to see that vision fulfilled, I mean, man, it's a blessing. And now to be at a stage in the age where I'm a grandfather, you know, it's even better when I look at my grandchildren. You know, at the beginning, I'm doing this for my children, you know, and then I see grandchildren. I say that's okay. Children growing up now, so now I still got the grandchildren to, you know, to look at Pop and say, okay, wow, okay, Pop did this, I can do this too. You know, Pop been a business owner since I was born, so yeah, you know, yeah, I can do this too.
Setting
You know,
that legacy for the next generation of your kids and your grandkids. Tell me a little bit about, and tell us a little bit about your wife again and your family, you know, and again, your relationship. Be remiss if I didn't mention Cole, you know, and how you guys have a rhythm of working together. Tell us a little bit about your family and the kids and how you and Cole mesh so good together.
Okay. All right, start with the family. I gave you a little history. My mother, born and raised Washington, D.C. My father, right here in Charles City. So, first of all, my wife, the two women that's been the most instrumental in my life, in my rebirth, shall I say, when I came home from prison, is my mother and my wife. So I look at a lot of guys that was incarcerated, and the women, man, I'm telling you, I got an extreme love for Black women. You know what I'm saying? That I will protect and respect Black women. I respect all women, but I have an extra thing for Black women. You know what I'm saying? To respect and protect our women, man. Because when I look at all the men in prison and I see go in the visiting room, it's always was Black women that's holding these guys down and helping them to cope with whatever they're going through, you know. And so, you know, my mother was there from day one, the whole 7 years. My wife, she was there, you know, holding it down, taking care of my son while I was incarcerated. So, I mean, I tell you, bro, you got a good, strong Black woman on your side, man. You love her, you take care of her, you know what I'm saying? And I tell you, so I definitely take my hat out to my amazing mother, my amazing wife, you know, for you know, setting the stage for me to come home and be productive and having my back all the way. But yeah, so yeah, my wife, she's amazing, Carla. We actually were high school sweethearts, and then once my life went left, you know, we split up for some years, but we always had that love for each other, and came back to each other. And you know, God was in the midst of everything, bringing that about and helping us to maintain and sustain a relationship. You know, and matter of fact, this weekend we're about to celebrate 20-year anniversary. You know,
congratulations early on, Mrs. Carla Paige. Shout out, absolutely. Happy anniversary. That's a man. I'm gonna tell you, those are accomplishments, man. Those are accomplishments, Ray. Those are accomplishments. Like, tell us a little bit about, you know, the store. I mean, like, you come in here, it's a one-stop shop, right? I mean, I've been in there. You know, everybody been looking at the lives I've been running. Tell us about what you can come in there. We know now you can get hair from all over the world. What else is in there? Because hats, I love the fact you had Ohio hats. You can get hats any city, y'all. You listen, any city, any football team, any basketball team, professional. You walk in. This is not like they just do it around the DMV. You only getting Washington Commanders. You only getting Virginia Cavaliers and all of this, that, and the other in Georgetown. No. And our HBCUs locally, you're going to get. Tell them about it, right?
Yeah. So okay. So Supreme Styles, beauty supply and fashion. So I mean, the type of stores that I loved in DC were variety stores, one-stop shops, man. I mean, nothing's better than to be able to walk in a store and just find everything that you need, or
Right.
just about everything that you need. So, I mean, those type of stores was the type of stores. Even when I moved to Virginia, when I went back to DC, those was the stores that I went to. Those one-stop shops, man, where I could just go and get whatever I needed. So that's how we modeled our store. So they said we started off a clothing store. We started off the clothing store years ago, and they say the customers were coming in, was like, man, wanted the beauty supply. So we had the opportunity to actually take over a beauty supply store after we took over the clothing store in Yorktown. We had the opportunity to take over a beauty supply store right here in Williamsburgh. So when we took over that store, they had one unit. And so we knew we wanted to do beauty supply and fashion. So it was an empty unit right next door to it. So we negotiated with the people, said we don't want just this unit to be, we want two units. We want to open this door, open the wall up, and go through and have clothing on one side, beauty supplies on the other side. So that's how we started off. That vision still continues today. And this was years ago, man. This was over 15 years ago when we came to Williamsburg. We had half of the store clothing, half the store beauty supplies. And that's just been, we just focus on being that one-stop shop. We, like you said, we don't discriminate. We not just, like I said, basically going in this area, you're just going to find Washington, Virginia Cavaliers, some William and Murray stuff, Hampton sometimes. But nah, we know that Williamsburg is a diverse area. Virginia itself is a diverse. You got people, you can meet people in Virginia everywhere. I know from Ohio, we have about at least 4 customers from Ohio, that come in here on a regular and been shopping with us for years. So we have people from Philadelphia here. You have your DC here. You have your New York here. You have Florida here. You have South Carolina, North Carolina. You got people from everywhere. And then people as far as sports, you got people that are born and raised in Virginia don't want nothing to do with any teams that's around here.
Yeah, North Carolina or Duke, maybe.
There you go. Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, just trying to have, I mean, like I say, clothing, your hats, your caps, your accessories, man. Yeah, so we just, and we put in our work. Don't get me wrong. These vendors didn't just show up at our door and be like, hey, da da da. We put in our work. We used to go to these big clothing shows in Las Vegas. Cole would go every January, and I would go. Well, no, he would go February, and I would go August. It was twice a year in Las Vegas. We would go to these clothing shows, and then found out about these accessory shows and out in Las Vegas too. And it was just, man, I'm gonna tell you, we've been in the business so long. We have the connections. We have the connections. Like I say, it wasn't, a lot of people want to have businesses. They want to do things, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in that work, get on that plane, fly out the Vegas. You got a show here, you got a show in Maryland, you got a show in Atlanta, there's a show in New Jersey. They don't want to put in the work. They want to come to you and ask you, where do you get this, da, 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 da. But I don't mind sharing information. That's what I believe in, helping people out. But you really want to grow to a scale that, like we've got to, I mean, like put in that work. I see y'all. I see the Mitchell collection. What I'm saying? I see y'all put in work.
Putting that work in, man. We looking. That's why we hanging with like-minded people like yourself. You have to. How many? I got a question. How much square foot is your facility?
This store is 6,000 square feet.
Y'all heard that. That's why I asked the question. It's huge.
6,000 square feet. Yep. We started off our first store, I believe, was about 900 square feet. Next one after that was about about 1,800 square feet. The one after that was 3,000 square feet. We outgrew the 3,000 square feet. We were there for 7 years. And then now 6,000 square feet. And we're about to hit the 7-year mark at this store right here. And I mean, it's just, I like it. Being in Williamsburgh, we have a lot of tourists in Williamsburgh. And we see tourists. I've had tourist families, I mean, from out of state that every time they can't wait to come to Williamsburgh. They want to come to Supreme. It makes you feel good. All your customers not gonna make you feel good, but you have these ones really,
it's good to reunite that you made those people happy, and as soon as they hit the city, they ready to come spend some money or just say hi to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah. It gives you that push. It make you, make you look and say, okay, I'm putting in work, but I'm impacting lives as well. So it makes it all worth it.
Oh man, your life, man. This is life story. You got a book, you got the whole 9 yards, whenever you're ready to do that. I mean, because the bottom line is facts are facts. And what you're doing, you walking in what you're supposed to be doing because you were determined. You didn't give up. You put in the work, you helping people along the way. But like you say, you want people with that work ethic like you got. You know what I'm saying? Those go-getters. Speaking of that, we surround ourselves with like-minded people. And I know that Business on the Move that we're both a part of out in Williamsburgh. We're Cherokee Edwards, phenomenal motivational speaker.
Shout out to Cherokee Edwards, yes.
And his wife, Jamise Edwards, are running that particular program. With you being a business owner, myself and my wife, I was watching tonight, Dr. Linda Mitchell, being a part of something like that and you're a business owner, what do you think is one of the benefits that you get out of being a part of an organization like a Business on the Move out there?
Oh man. So just to see a group of like-minded people come together. They always say that we cannot work together. You hear that a lot, the crab in the bucket mentality, but to see people that are actually championing each other, that I want you to win, you want me to win, I'm going to support you, you're going to support me, and have a group of people doing that, man, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it's really at the beginning phase. We're still at our beginning stage. So I talked to Cherokee. He came by the store today, and I was telling him, I said, man, this is something amazing in the making right now. This is something it's something amazing. In the beginning, it's kind of like, okay, let's see where this thing is going. I've known Cherokee for a number of years, and we clicked right off the bat. But with the meeting, by the way it was going, I'm trying to figure out, I'm sitting back in the cut, I'm coming to the meeting, I'm like, where's this thing going? But I had enough, faith in the process. Sometimes you just got to, trust the process. Everything don't just boom, click like that. So I said, okay, I'm patient, trust the process and see where this thing's going. And, knowing Cherokee, so I had some trust in him as well, that, is not sure where it was going in the beginning, but let me see where this thing is going. But now I see the direction that is going, man. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing. It's just gonna get better and better, and we're gonna continue to support one another and help each other grow. Man, I'm telling you. So, and people gonna hear about. Some people will go miss the train and be like, man, dang, I had an opportunity to be a part of Business on the Move, but I missed it.
Absolutely. Shout out again, we see Amelia, we appreciate her chiming in now, and Jamise and Cherokee and everybody that's listening and gonna be listening on forward. I made sure that I tried to make sure I got everybody involved tonight. But listen, we just, who can you tell us quickly, before we start winding down here, I know your time is valuable, about like do you have in business now? Is this somebody that you just go to, like, you don't even have to say their name, but I'm quite sure, you know, mentors are important to us. Like, is it somebody that you just like outside of code, you know, that's your business partner, right? Is it anybody else that maybe you have as like a mentor to you still?
Man, I'm gonna tell you one of the strange things. It might seem kind of unbelievable, but we were kind of, when me and Cole started, we were like groundbreaking. We didn't
Yeah,
have anybody. We didn't have anybody to really that we could go to and say, you know, can you mentor us and da 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 da. We just stepped out on faith, man,
mm,
and you know, myself trusting in God and striving to continually be a man of God. You know, I credit everything to God, man. You know, that's been my go-to. You know, I keep, you know, I believe, you know, in prayer. I
yes,
believe, of course, I believe in God, but I believe in prayer. I believe that prayer works. And you know, when I get into situations, I mean, I thank God for technology. You know,
yes,
because I've been mentored. I've been mentored by people I've never met. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? YouTube, man, I got a slew of mentors on YouTube. You know, and it keeps me
YouTube
motivated.
University.
Exactly, it keeps me motivated. I'm talking about from ET the hip hop preacher. You know, Earn Your Leisure, man, um, you name it. I have a lot of mentors. Les Brown, Tony Robbins. It's quite a few of them out there. That so, truth be told, a lot of times when I'm in this store, I'm working. I'm talking. This has been for years. I closed this store down, and I'm putting on YouTube. I need to hear something positive. I need to hear some
Mhm.
motivation, and so we've actually been on that mentoring. You know, people have been pulling at us, but it's amazing that you asked that question though, because I was like, man, I need me a mentor. I need me a mentor. You know, it's good to have these YouTube mentors, but I need
Yeah,
somebody I can call and be like, hey, da 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 da.
we
You know,
all do.
that's why that's another great thing about having business on the move, because we can talk to each other. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You can ask me questions. I can ask you questions. I
yeah,
ask Chuck questions. You know, people that have, you know, in business on the move is some people that are new in business and some seasoned people in business as
right.
well. And so that's a good network to have right there. And you met the Golsons. I think
Yeah, yeah.
you met the husband and wife yet, or just
I met Mrs. Golston. I met her. She
mm,
called us back, and we got an appointment set up. We supposed to meet with her, and definitely I messaged Lawrence
right?
Lagos, and
Mhm.
hopefully I'll be speaking with him as well. And I told him, you know, we was friends, and you recommended him highly. So, and I
Yeah.
know you can speak on your experience with the NAACP too with them if you want to, and your ribbon cutting too. Before we go.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, the NAACP ever since Lawrence Golson became the local president, Williamsburgh, James City County, York County, the local president of the NAACP. He's been doing, man, phenomenal things in this community, man. He
Yeah.
made sure that when I say every black owned business that he found out about, made sure that they had a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes.
In that ribbon cutting ceremony, they had dignitaries, local government, they had the Chamber of Commerce, Williamsburgh, James City County, York County. He had people out there that, man, I'm gonna say it was amazing to see that. And I went to several different businesses, as you know, leading up to mine. Went to several different businesses and see the ribbon cutting ceremony. The people that never had ribbon cutting ceremonies, and they actually they had news coverage. They had news coverage for, I think it was like the first couple of ones that they did. They had Wavy TV 10 came and they had news coverage. It was amazing to see. But he and the people that had home businesses, he did them too. People that had businesses that didn't have a that work out different, maybe they're a trucking business or something like that. They would do it right at their building, at the Maximum buildings. Have a ribbon cutting ceremony, man. It was awesome. We had been in business over a decade and never had a ribbon cutting ceremony. So it was major, man. It was a great moment, man. And I take my hat off, salute to everything that Lawrence Golson, his wife Tawana Golson, their team, the Maximum team, man. It's an amazing team, and I'm gonna make sure, that you. Just like I made sure Cherokee met Lawrence, and make sure you meet Lawrence as well. Because I'm telling you, it is a powerful network, man. Powerful network.
Oh, man, listen, I appreciate what you showed me and what you sent to me. And again, I acted on it, and it was amazing. And when I went out and I met his wife, I was like, I'm in the little pets, right? They had one of these little dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she saw I was trying to basically continue to promote my business with my new truck and things. And she was such a nice lady. And again, had no idea they were doing such phenomenal work in the community at that particular time. So they such nice, humble people doing so much good things. And we look forward to that. Man, listen. Is there anything you got going on? You got some sales going on? What you want to tell these ladies what's going on? Something before we leave? Men, get your fashion. We got all kinds of products. I know you got something on sale over there.
Okay, so right now, we're still at the beginning of the year. We took a look at inventory, and man, we had an overstock of wigs for the ladies. We had lace front wigs, we have half wigs, we have human wigs, we have several big varieties. We have literally right now probably over 300 wigs at 40% off right now. And we say we're going to do it through February, but I tell you what, we're going to do it through March as well. 40% off. That's almost half price off of over 300 wigs we have.
I'm going to make sure I repost that. You guys, y'all hear that? 40% off. And that's all different types of wigs, okay?
All different types, wide variety, big selection. I just want to put out there that a lot of people think of beauty supply store, they think of women only. We have all the latest, all the latest clippers for the barbers. We have clipper sets, deals. We have replacement guards, replacement blades for the clippers, blow dryers, all the accessories, men grooming, beard oils, beard washes. I tell you, the black soap, shea butter, aloe butter,
fragrances,
essential oils, and I'll tell you. So we have something for everybody. But I can't leave without mentioning our nonprofit organization.
Please do.
So I am the president of Faith Walkers, 501c3 nonprofit organization, and I have to give a shout out to the co-founders, two co-founders, Tony Overs and Marty Wright. So the two co-founders and I, we pretty much been in the Williamsburgh area for a long time. They pretty much just about born and raised in this area. But I met them when I came here. Like I say, we were all doing our thing in the streets. So the co-founders, they both spent over 24 years in prison, in federal prison. So we got together and we put together Faith Walkers. Faith Walkers is a nonprofit organization, and our goal is to help reduce the recidivism rate in this area of the men and women coming home, trying to get back on their feet. But we know the struggle. So, and I have seen so many people come home, and nobody comes home from prison and say, man, you know what? I miss that place. I want to go back. But unfortunately, when people don't have a support system, when they don't have that encouragement of somebody in their ear saying, you know what, nah, it's a better way. You don't have to do that no more. You don't have to do what put you in prison. You can try this way. This is what I did, and it worked. So that's our goal right there, just to help the men and women coming home, and just to spread it all throughout this 757 804 area. And also, while we're doing that, our goal is to have an effect on the youth, the
Yeah.
young guys out here, to share our story with them and say, hey, you think you want that life, that
Right.
thug life, but let me show you the flip side of that thug life, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so when they can talk to somebody that's done 24 years, 20 Tony did 26 and a half, and you know, it's some guys in Williamsburgh that done longer than that, you know, that is in our network. But so our thing is to get out there to the youth and say, hey, you know, just let them know that this is it's a better life. It's a better life than what you're doing. What you're doing, we know where it can get you, and you don't want that, you know. So we want to have a great impact on the youth, and so as we help the men and women coming home and help, and then they become part of faith walkers, and we can just really, you know, have a great impact and make some change in this area.
Faith walkers. I love the name. You know, again, a testimony to your faith, and reducing this recidivism rate is so important. And you know, that's for those that don't know what that word recidivism is. That's come home and stay home. Okay. In layman's term. Okay. Come home and stay home. Don't keep going back. Don't keep going back. And the recidivism rate can be affected not always by one committing another crime. It can be affected by litigating circumstances with someone that's on a probation and being sent back to. You know,
Exactly.
it doesn't even have to be that they might have did something small and that they just got sent back. So we don't want that to happen, um, uh, especially with our youth. Okay,
Right.
not to anyone, but especially to our youth. And I would say this, and this is what needs to happen, and for us, especially who inner city grown up like me, you, Cherokee, you know, and etc. You know, listen. Instead of you doing your time, listen to this, Ray, and then you coming home, and then you become a big time business owner, 6,500 or whatever numbers, one stop shop store. You know, I mean, it giving back to the community, profit, nonprofit, but they will still ask you if you want to protect yourself, not to have a firearm for your family. They would still ask you, which is ludicrous why I'm mentioning it, okay? It's ludicrous. Okay, once you did the time, you should be allowed to be yourself, but society doesn't allow it. Why would they ask, have you ever been convicted, right? Why would they ask if you've been home 18 years or something and tomorrow you had to go and apply for a regular job, quote unquote? They would still take you back to relive all of that 18, 20 years ago. Am I correct? So that's something that needs to be removed in whatever way they can figure that out from the books. You know what I mean? They shouldn't even be able to ask that, because you're taking someone to a place where they don't need to go, when right now they trying to do is make a living and get some money the right way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That right. It makes it very difficult, you know, for people to come home,
Mhm.
trying to get on their feet. And I was on a Zoom call earlier, and I heard something that was good news to hear, that Lawrence Golson had set up the Zoom call with different nonprofit organizations, and there was another uh, nonprofit organization that was on there that deals with helps people out coming home from prison as well, that I'm looking forward to linking up with. And she said that they did change some laws, that some of the benefits that that it's crazy they just changing this law, but for many years, if you had a possession of a drug with intent to sell charge, you could not, when you came home from prison, you were not eligible for certain benefits low, that was eligible for low income people because you had that charge. Now, you mean to tell me that somebody went out there for whatever reason and had a possession with intent, so they were trying to get some money. You don't know what they were trying to do. Someone maybe just wanted to be a big drug dealer. Someone trying to pay some bills, take care of their kids, or whatever.
Different reasons.
But nevertheless, they got in trouble. They did their time, and now you're saying that they are not eligible for benefits that are eligible to other people because you have a possession with intent charge, and then they want you to stay out of trouble. But you don't have the same. The playing field is not the same. So they set up an obstacle and tell you to stay out of trouble, and that's one of the problems with the system with that too. You go to prison, you do your time, be on probation or whatever you have to do, and then they want to still hold that over top of your head. If you've been convicted of a felony, and I did my time, and I'm home, and I need a job. What do I need to
be more successful than a lot of people? Just keeping it real, that's what we do. And at the same time, because of the simple fact, I'm just saying, if you ain't never looking back, we entrepreneurs, you ain't never looking back. That's what you do. But if you should you should have the right, let me put it that way, as a U.S. citizen to carry if you want to. If somebody, you already did the time, and you should have the right as a U.S. citizen to any job anybody else can do if you qualified to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not be held accountable for something that happened 20, 30 years ago. I mean, that's just fact. I ain't even preaching. That's just facts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't preaching. That's facts.
I agree with you 110%.
Cherokee said facts. I mean, that's just what it is. And until it's just almost like, before we go, we having fun just chopping it up here, but it's almost like, like where they still have Black people as 3/5 human, That until you take that off the books, you're allowing people to continue to, even though we don't feel that way about ourselves, but some people, they get so caught up in the indoctrination of race and hate that they start believing that, and it affects their self-esteem and the young kids. So what you doing, man, listen, I applaud it. It's 100. It's inner city brother to another inner city brother. Keep on doing what you're doing. It's definitely needed, and not just Williamsburgh, but all over the United States in these inner cities, man. It's just got to a point. We about love on this show, giving one their flowers. You giving back. No one should be judged, right? They say don't judge a book, but I never judge people, man. And one thing I think I was one of the best blessings I've ever had myself. I ain't never judged nobody like on the outside. Me, I ain't never, it's no people might think it's hard because when we look at people, the first thing you do, you go off of just the appearance, but you cannot do that because you'll miss out on something in life. I mean, when I was selling cars, I sold with Cherokee at. Cherokee might want to hear this. I never gave this testimony, but I sold, this was a record for Kia Motors, right? In 2000. You ready for this? 2002. That's 21 years ago. Man, I was in the auto industry. Man, I sold 40, I sold 41 cars in 1 month, right? It was like a record nationally for them at the time. Because you remember Kia, they sell a lot now, but not like 21 years ago.
Right, yeah.
It was a big thing between the South Korea and North Korea. People was coming, oh, what is this? North Korea, South Korea, South Korea? I don't know what car it is. North or South, I don't want it, But I had everybody lined up. All they wanted to do was buy for me that month,
Yeah.
All they wanted to do was buy for me that month. But, you have to continue to have pride in yourself keep on marching and keep believing for what we believe in. But I still think we got a lot of major hurdles to overcome. And we have to continue. You're a role model, whether you want to be a role model in the position that you are, and everything that we're doing. So let's just continue, man, to support each other. Shout out to everybody. You know what I mean? We appreciate all this chimed in, and we'll be chiming in. And Ray, man, you doing wonderful, man. Keep up the good work. About hiring people, we didn't get into nothing in terms of the hiring process. We both know it's hard to find good help today and great customer service. But I do want to put it out here that Ray and Cole are always looking, for good quality help, good customer service oriented people. I know I met a few of your coworkers, man, and I tell you, really nice staff you got over there. They enjoyed the juices. We had fun at first. Oh man, they was like, "Oh no, the juice is green." No. We ended up enjoying our Sweetheart Mitchell collection juices, and we had a lot of fun with that, man. And just want you to know, brother, anytime you want to come back on the show, you're welcome to do so, and we appreciate you being here. And you guys get out there in the 757 and beyond and support Supreme Styles and Beauty Supply Fashion. You get out there, it's a big old one-stop shop. You can get everything, ladies, you want, men, everything you want. I'm talking about from head to toe, right? When you walk out the door, you're going to be set, all right? All right, y'all. Next week, we'll have another wonderful show. You guys know I'm always going to have a wonderful guest on the show, whether it's business or sports related. We appreciate you guys chiming in. Again, this is David Mitchell. Thank you for joining the show straight from the source. Ray, we will be in touch soon. Keep doing what you're doing. God bless my brother.
Check us out on social media.
Yes,
Facebook,
put that out there.
Facebook, Instagram.
Put it out there, Ray. What's your
Supreme Styles Beauty Supply. Matter of fact, you go to our website, Supreme Styles, the number 1, SupremeStyles1.com. You can link there to all of our social media accounts, and you can follow us, like us, and check us out.
Okay, we're going to definitely make sure we put all that in the description for you, Ray. Appreciate you, man. It's been love, all right?
Hey, man, appreciate you, man. I really appreciate this opportunity.
It's been a pleasure. God bless you.
God bless you. You and your wife.